Hey guys, here is our another lesson on vectors. This is now what if there are two vectors in the problem. So it's going to feel very similar to what we did yesterday, but we are trying to find the resultant force. So the resultant force you get by adding the two vectors together in the end. So I'm going to write that up here at the top. If it asks you for the resultant force, that means you're going to add the two vectors together. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to graph this first vector. Just like we were doing yesterday, make sure you pay attention to what quadrant you're in. 20 degrees would be in the first quadrant. And we know the magnitude is 55. I'm going to find the x, and I'm going to find the y for that one. And actually, since this is the first one, we're going to call it x1 and y1. And then for the other one that's at 70 degrees, I know the force is 60, and we're going to find its components as well. We're going to call this x2 and y2. So we want to resolve both vectors first, which just means finding their components. So in the first vector, to find x1, we would use cosine. It'd be cosine of 20 equals x1 over 55. And you're going to multiply by 55 to the other side. And you get 55 times the cosine of 20. You get 51.68. And then we're going to find the vertical component, so that's going to be sine, because it's opposite in hypotenuse. Sine of 20 equals y1 over 55. And then we're going to multiply by 55 to the other side. And you get 18.81. And we do the same thing in the second one. We got to resolve that vector as well. So we're doing cosine of 70 to help us find x2. And we're just multiplying by 60 to the other side. 60 times the cosine of 70 is 20.52. And then to find y, we have to use sine. It's sine of 70 equals y2 over 60. Where I get y2 is equal to 56.38. And then we are going to add the horizontal parts together and add the vertical parts together. So if I add these two parts together, that gives me that the horizontal component is 72.2. And then if I add the vertical parts together, you get 75.19. And then we have to answer the question. The question asks us to find the magnitude of the combined force. So that's our combined force right now. That together would give us 72.2I plus 75.19J, as we need to find the magnitude of that. So to find the magnitude, we're just using the formula. It would be the square root of 72.2 squared plus 75.19 squared. And you can just put that in your calculator. And then take the square root, and you get 104.24 pounds. We'll label it because that's going to come out as the magnitude comes out as the same measurement as what the original force is. Okay? So let's try another one. So in this next one, the first one is in the first quadrant. So at 50 degrees, we know that the magnitude is 30 pounds. We're going to find x1, and we're going to find y1. The second one is in the second quadrant, so that's where 140 would go to. So I'll put 140 in here. And then the magnitude is the hypotenuse, that's 45. And we can fill in, we are going to find the horizontal component and the vertical component. So again, to find the horizontal component, it's always cosine. Cosine of 50 is equal to x1 over 30. And then we're going to calculate x1. and you get 19.28, and then to find the vertical component we're using sine to find y. Sine of 50 equals y1 over 30. y1 is going to be 22.98, and then we're going to resolve everything for the second one as well. So it'll be cosine of 140 is equal to x2 over 45. And we're multiplying by 45. And you get negative 34.47. And then to find the y part, we're using sine. Sine of 140 is equal to y2 over 45. And then we're going to multiply by 45. And you get 28.93. And then we have to resolve the vector, which means or find the resultant vector, which means we're adding those together. So if I add 19.28 plus negative 34.47, we get negative 15.24i plus 22.98 plus 28.93, 51.19j. And then the directions still just want me to find the magnitude here. So the magnitude is going to be the square root of that guy squared plus that guy squared. And just let your calculator do all the work. I'm just typing that all into my calculator. Just be careful with the negative. If you don't put it in parentheses, it'll calculate it wrong. So I sometimes just drop the negative and put it in as a positive so that it'll calculate it correctly. We get 54.1 pounds. So there will be a problem on Class Kick for you to try about this, and then there are a couple problems for you to practice on the homework. Today should be a relatively easier day, but make sure that homework gets turned in by Monday before class begins. Alright, take care, and hang in there, guys.